What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today on this Fun with Fire Friday, I thought we could take a look at a cool and unique piece from Countycom. This is their Flame Vault match in titanium, also available in Ultem now. And if you're familiar with the concept of a vault match, this is nothing new. Plenty of companies have made these in the past. What I think makes this one orders of magnitude cooler is that this one was made out of a solid block of titanium. You can pick this one up as well as the newer Ultem version over on the Countycom website, which I'll link to in the description, for $50. Do have a coupon code Uncommon EDC, that's 10% off anything that they sell, but we'll bring the price of these down to about $45. Now I have a standard size Zippo here just for the sake of a size comparison. So you can see this one does have a slightly smaller footprint if that's something that's important to you. We're looking at 2 inches in height. That includes the stem of the match, which is sticking out a little bit from the vault. The vault itself is probably about 1.75 inches in height, but you carry these in tandem, so it's going to be a 2-inch height, 1.1 inches in width, and ½ an inch in thickness. Specifically turned to this side so we can take a look at that ferro rod that's embedded into the side of this vault match. And this is replaceable, so it's glued in there. If it ever wears out, they sell replacement consumables on the site, but you can find a similar size ferro rod, cut it down to size, and glue it in there if they're no longer selling this years down the line. Now, this one, as I mentioned, is made out of a solid block of titanium, still pretty lightweight at 1.35 ounces. I would imagine the Ultem version might be even lighter, but this is very, very lightweight. We have 2 different keychain attachment points, so you can attach it to a keychain on the vault portion or on the match portion, depending on your preference, or neither like I do, and that's fine as well. Really nice diamond texturing on the side of the vault and some dimpling on the stem of the match, so it's a little bit easier to twist on and off, especially if it gets some of that fluid on there or it's just wet. You can still get it on and off relatively easily. This one is also serialized. You can see 675 out of 1,000. This was part of the first run. They're on the second run now, which I don't think is serialized, but otherwise should be pretty much identical unless they're doing new textures and stuff like that, which they do experiment with their pens, so it would be kind of cool to see on these as well. The striker in here is rated for 12,000 strikes. The rest of the consumables are going to be pretty similar to a Zippo. So instead of the flint that we have in the Zippo, we have that ferro rod and striker, but we still have a wick on the internals. I also filled this one up with Zippo fluid, but you can use the accelerant of your choice. There's other brands that make them, or even if you put like gasoline or something like that, that would work. But I just went with standard Zippo fluid, and that worked just fine for me. Now, other than that, these are going to be a little bit more expensive than your standard Zippo. There are Zippos like the one I have here that are more expensive than this, but standard Zippos, you can get for 20, 25 bucks. And so not a huge advantage in price. There's a little bit of an advantage in size. I think this does still have a couple advantages to a Zippo, just depending on what your daily use of this is going to be. One is the way that it closes. This flip top allows your Zippo fluid to evaporate extremely quickly. If you've ever carried a Zippo, you're getting 4 or 5 days off that fluid in most cases, unless you use like a stopper on the bottom. There's some other strategies you can extend it to, but even then you're getting to maybe a little over a week. With this one, you get virtually no evaporation because it twists on super tight and there's an O-ring in there. As long as that O-ring doesn't degrade, you shouldn't have much of any evaporation. So you can store Zippo fluid in here for long periods of time without worrying about evaporating, which is really nice if you're someone like me who doesn't smoke. I smoke the occasional cigar, but I use butane lighters for that. A lot of people don't like the way the Zippo fluid tastes with cigars, and so I just kind of steer away from that in general. So not going to really be using it for that. And so a lot of times with these style of lighters, the fluid's just kind of sitting in there until a rainy day when I need it. The other kind of small advantage is going to be the same things that matches are better than a Zippo for. Zippos really aren't known for their reach. So if you're doing something where you're kind of reaching in or maybe lighting a campfire, this is going to have a little bit more reach where you can reach that in there. Also, advantage over a standard match is that it's not going to burn down over time. You can keep that in your hand without worrying about the wood burning down to your fingertips. And so really kind of basic. I am going to show how it lights here and then we'll wrap it up. Should be a pretty short and easy video though. So this all twists off. I'll show the wick and the striker. You can see my wick is a little bit fluffed out more than it needs to be. If you trim that back, you can control the size of the flame just a little bit, and then in between there we do have that striker. So make sure you don't tip this upside down or you'll spill that fluid out, but you can just run that striker along that ferro rod, and may require a couple strikes here to get it going. There we go. And you can see pretty nice flame out of that one when you're done with it. Just blow it out. I do have a fire extinguisher just off screen just in case, but haven't had any issues with that. I just always like that when I'm playing with fire indoors. Can put that right back in there. You don't have to worry about those little embers on the end of the wick lighting this and the whole thing exploding. It's pretty much airtight in there, so that's just going to go out as soon as you dip it back in. Have had no issues with that. But just filled with standard Zippo fluid, I think this is a really cool option. If you're someone like me who's really not using your lighter all that often, it's a little bit better of an option than a Zippo because, like I said, it just retains that fluid for a lot longer. And I think it's just kind of cool. Zippos have their own cool factor, but this is super cool and unique. A lot of people haven't ever seen a vault match, and so definitely kind of a conversation piece if you're using this to light the birthday candles. A lot of people have never seen something like this, so it's a really cool alternative. Let me know if this is something you would consider EDCing and why or why not down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, join the channel as a member, all those things that help the channel out a ton behind the scenes. And if you're watching this on the day of launch, I hope you have a great weekend. Even if you're not, I hope you have a great day. Take care.